Hey there, this is Nick with Cruising Family. We are a channel all about travel, family, and the things we do. Welcome. On today's episode of CNF, Cruising Family Cruise Show, I'm going to talk to you all about how we got hooked on cruising and our first experience of cruising and why we come back to cruising. If you're new to the channel, if you're coming in maybe for one of the first times, I just want to let you know we have about 20 years of experience in cruising, where we go as a couple, just my wife and I, and then also with our three kids. We've cruised primarily out of the West Coast, but done some Caribbean cruises. So I'm gonna speak from those perspectives. So, how we got hooked on cruising, and if you ask my wife, this is more of a me thing than a we thing, but she still goes with me, so it must be enough of a we thing for that. But our first experience of cruising is what got us hooked on cruising. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and then I'm going to also talk about some of the things that we enjoy and keep us coming back. So our first experience of cruising was a cruise in 2005. In November of 2005, were married, and the next day we flew out of Reno International Airport, and flew to LAX, which is a much larger airport, for our cruise. So yes, we flew in on the day of our cruise. If you watch many cruise videos, one of the big tips is to not travel the day of your cruise, and I subscribe to that. I believe in that. But on our first cruise, we didn't know much about cruising at all. It was actually a gift from my father and mother-in-law. So they sent us on the cruise. So we flew into LAX. We took one of those, and I forget the name of it. I think it's called Super Shuttle, something like that. It was a blue shuttle from LAX to the cruise terminal. The cruise terminal in Long Beach is much different than today. They've done a lot of improvements, upgrades to it. When we went there, we were going on the Carnival Pride. The Carnival Pride was a newer ship, so we were super excited. My father-in-law, mother-in-law booked us into a guaranteed cabin, balcony cabin. So, people that ask, am I going to be okay with a guaranteed cabin? Let me talk about our experience with a guaranteed cabin. This was our first cruise, and we didn't know what to expect, but when we got on, one of the first things you do is go to your cabin, and we were overly impressed with that cabin. Not just from our first impression of being there, but all the way through the cruise. It was centrally located, I believe, one deck below the Lido deck, and it was close to the elevator, and both of these things are things that we continue to do, is making sure that we're not one but two decks below like the Lido deck. We try to get onto that floor, two decks below or three decks below the Lido deck, because a lot of the action that happens there. So I remember coming into that balcony cabin. We got all situated. We had to ask our cabin steward to push our beds together. No big deal. If you make your reservation, go on and fill out the information about the bed, and you get into the room and it's not how you expected it to, just talk to your cabin steward. In our almost 20 years of cruising, all it takes is just a short conversation, and it gets moved within a couple of hours. So make sure that you do that. Advocate for yourself, and really make sure that you're polite and courteous with those cabin stewards, because they really do a lot for you. But the room, it was our first time experiencing a room, so we didn't know what to expect. But one thing that we found was that we could ask for a second and third comforter. And you might be thinking, why did you do that? We took those comforters out onto the balcony and enjoyed the foggy weather. At that time, in 2005, and out of Long Beach, it was foggy for the first day and a half coming from Long Beach, going to the Mexican Riviera. So we went out and we snuggled into our comforters, and we enjoyed our time on that balcony. It was a great time. So having that opportunity, and something else about that is we came back and got a second comforter. I know that doesn't sound like super honeymoony-ish, but it just makes the nighttime sleeping a whole lot easier when nobody's fighting over a blanket. When we went on the cruise, they still used to mail out the boarding passes. I know that might sound archaic. Maybe you're newer to cruising, but it was one of the last times. I don't think we even on our second cruise had that happen. So, but it was kind of cool having that little thing come to us in the mail. They still had room keys, cabin keys, so that's not different. But it was a cool thing. I remember they still called it the Carnival Keepers. I know that's been a up and down thing, but it was kind of cool to be able to experience that. And then we made it. We got on the cruise ship. We didn't understand the process of cruising, so we asked people to give us like cash. We took a lot of cash onto the ship, not realizing that they had an onboard account, which we quickly realized. But first time cruises didn't do any research. That was us. And with that in mind, we also didn't do any research into the excursions that we wanted to do. We got onto the cruise ship and booked our excursions on the cruise ship. And we found some fun things to do. I remember we went for a tour. They took us all around a small village. They took us into an unfinished church, and then over to a tequila factory where we got to sip tequila. And they talked about the different types and all of that. But it was a really cool experience. Of the many excursions that we've done over the 20 years, I still remember that first excursion that we did, like it sticks out like a popular one. So definitely, if you haven't booked excursions going into the cruise, you definitely can still find some fun. I can't imagine getting on a cruise ship today and thinking, oh, I need to go find my excursions now. That gives me a little bit of heartburn. The process of just having that adventure, thinking, hey, what do we want to do, was really cool. So definitely making sure that we take more time in the future to plan it out, which is part of the reason we're hooked. Is I can take 9 months and research a port over and over and over again and look for those adventures, and have like lots of experiences leading up to the cruise about the place that we're about to go to. So definitely the adventure of finding a fun excursion is cool. And something like if you're a new cruiser, if you're maybe only cruised once, there is something to say for excursions. I have another video about this, and then there's something to say for just being spontaneous for the day. So I don't think one's better than the other, and they definitely both have benefits to it. Another thing that has kept us hooked on cruising is just the familiarity of the experience, the familiarity of being able to go and and know what to expect. Know like that process, the types of food that we're going to get, the entertainment that we're going to have, the relaxation time that we're going to have. All of those familiarity pieces are really pieces that keep us coming back. Knowing that we can expect to be able to decompress and have some time for that process, and just have like some lazy days where we're not connected much with the outside world. You can, even in 2025, you can choose to not get that internet package if you don't want to. You can choose to not look at new stuff. I actually get the internet package each cruise now, because I do daily vlogs on our cruises. So I actually am uploading video during that cruise. But that's, I definitely stay connected now. But it really was kind of cool to be in the world and not know what was going on in the world. It was really cool to just be able to disconnect. So if you want that experience, consider not getting the internet package. Consider not like watching the TV during the cruise. And we had TV, but it wasn't. We didn't have like the current events. We depended on the cruise ship itself to give us the most important current event. So some of the things that keep us coming back have to do with that familiarity, or knowing what to expect. Being able to anticipate the type of vacation we're going to get, and how to get the most out of it. It's definitely a big hook for me personally. There's a lot of value in cruising, and the experience of cruising. I actually am very connected with like that water, the movement of the ship. People talk about motion sickness and seasickness. I don't normally experience it, so maybe that's also one of the reasons that it's soothing to me. But just that familiarity really is a positive for me to come back. As we've evolved as a family, I would say the family experience is another reason that we continue to come back. Obviously, when we went on our first cruise, the thing that hooked us, we didn't have children, but being able to make experiences as a family and with children now really has an awesome benefit. They get to go see places in the world. They get to have that fun time. They get to make their own fun on the ship, and as a family, like, we're actively making sure that they're courteous and respectful, teaching them like the proper way to interact with people. We took them to like Alaska. We took them up to Alaska, and they definitely were some of the youngest cruisers there. So it's important for us to teach those manners, and to expect our children to live within the world, with the people around them. So it's a confined space, but also making sure that we have family time where we make memories. And part of the reason that I started this channel was in order for me to keep those memories going, and connecting that family like experience. Oh, we did do that. That's kind of cool. I remember that. So definitely, you don't have to. I mean, we're not a non-monetized channel. I still make the videos to benefit like those memories, and also to share experiences so that other people can make their own memories. So I have to say thank you so much for watching us. We are going to wrap up here. Keep on looking for our content. We have lots of stuff coming up about, let me see here. I'm going to be talking about cruising with a family of 5, and what type of cabin selection we should look for. Duck prepping. We have a cruise coming up, and we're actually working on prepping those ducks. I'm going to talk about small ships versus big ships, and what you can and can't get out of each type, and which one might be best for us. I'm going to share experiences in coming videos about different cabin styles. We've stayed in interior, ocean view, balconies, suites, everything in between. So I'm going to give my experiences with those. I have a cruise video or cruise vlog video coming up towards the end of May. Look for that. I'm going to talk about our trip to New York and our Symphony of the Seas experience that we're looking forward to. I have lots of content on what we're going to show with there. Then I'm also going to talk a little bit about how I vlog during the process of cruising, and then I'm also going to share a checklist that I go through, especially since we're going to be going through that process. Even right now, I'm going through that process, but share those experiences. So, and then towards the middle of June, look for our Symphony of the Seas kind of review. So I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end here. Thank you so much. If you could, give us a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, considering do so. It really helps us. And I want to be able to bring more information to help you for your future cruises. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.